Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm retouching this wooden truck that I built 8 years ago. As you can see, the truck has been played with for 8 years by my two sons, 10 and 5, and shows some signs of wear here and there. While I'm retouching the truck today, I will also share a bit about its story and about this channel in general. So this is actually my very first video here and I'm really excited to start sharing my project with you. So for my first step, I'm going to vacuum it. Now as I vacuum, let me share about this channel. So this channel is going to be all about making things, mostly woodworking projects like toys and small weekend builds for my two sons. I just stopped to show you guys the wheel, which was the first part I built for the truck, and then this base. The second step is sanding using this 120 grit sanding block. I like to using a sanding block because it's easy to hold, easy to wrap around the wood, and just comfortable to use. For this project, I'm only going to use a 120 grit sand block. If a project needs a smoother finish, I will usually go up to 220 grit as well. Now, since sanding is going to take a little while, let me share how I first got into woodworking and how I built this truck. So I've always been interested in woodworking, but for a long time I never really had a chance to try it. Then one day I needed a simple shelf and I noticed there was a table saw at my workplace, just sitting in the storage room collecting dust. I was working at a church at the time and thankfully I had full access to use the saw. So I bought a board, measured it, turned on the table saw and made a cut. And that moment felt amazing. So from then on, I decided to make woodworking my hobby. So at first, I learned a lot from YouTube channel, especially from Steve Ramsey's channels, Woodworking for Mere Motors. So his videos really helped me get started, especially his basic series. And I will leave a link in the description if you want to check him out. So that was about 8 years ago. And believe it or not, one of my very first project was this wooden truck. My older son's second birthday was coming up. And I wanted to make him a toy with my own hands. And I found an image of a toy truck online and built this one with the skills that I learned back then. I'm also going to share some tips about woodworking as a hobby, especially for those who want to start. So to begin, I think you should at least have access to a table saw because it's one of the most basic and versatile tools. With it, you can make so many different projects. For me, I got lucky because I had access to a table saw and a storage room where I could use it. That naturally led me into this hobby. Now, if you don't have a table saw or don't have enough space to use one, don't worry about it. There's another way around it. I will show you that in a future video. I actually live in an apartment, and since I no longer work at the church, I don't have access to that saw or the storage room anymore. So I had to find another way to keep doing woodworking. So make sure to subscribe and set the alarm bell. I guess that's how it goes, right? So you don't miss that video where I do a project without using a table saw. Now coming back to the truck, I finished sanding and I'm going to wipe off all the dust with some wipes. After that comes the most satisfying part of the project, varnishing. If you watch other woodworking videos, most people would probably agree sanding is the most tedious part of any project, but varnishing is the most satisfying because that's when the wood's natural color really pops out. Now I want to talk a little more about this truck. For this project I used many different types of wood. At first I collected scrap wood from things like old desks and bookcases that were being thrown away. If you look closely you will notice that some part of the truck like the truck bed are actually made from that scrap wood I collected. Oh, now comes the varnishing part. Or actually, I should correct myself. Technically, this isn't varnishing. I'm going to use food grade mineral oil for the finish. Varnishing usually means applying a hard protective coating like polyurethane or lacquer. But when I first built this truck, it was for my 2-year-old son. So I wanted the finish to be completely food safe, just in case he decided to lick the truck, which toddlers sometimes do. The oil I'm using is Howard Butcher Block cutting board oil. This is my go-to oil whenever I make something that needs to be food safe, like cutting boards. After applying the oil, I usually finish with a layer of wax from the same company. But for this project, I'm going to keep it simple and skip the wax. I will also leave information about the oil and wax in the description below. Now, coming back to the story about the material I used for the truck. I used scrap wood for the bed of the truck, but as I examined those pieces, I realized they weren't very strong and chipped pretty easily. So I went to Home Depot to buy some better wood. For this build, I used poplar, walnut, and pine. I remember using poplar for the base, and if you see any darker brown parts, that will be walnut. For this project, the main cost was really the wood itself, and the walnut was definitely the most expensive. I love walnut, and I think many people do, but it does come with a higher price tag. Still, since I didn't use too much of it for this build, the total cost wasn't too bad, except for my own labor, of course. So it took me about 3 to 4 months, I guess, working on weekends here and there to finish this. So as I mentioned before, this truck was made for my 2-year-old son at that time. When I started the project, I made one rule for myself. It had to be completely safe for him to play with. So like I said before, I used food grade mineral oil for the finish. And if you look closely, you will notice there are no sharp edges anywhere on the truck. To make that happen, I learned how to use a router, of course from Steve Ramsey's YouTube channel. And I used it to round over all the edges. So here comes the second tip. If you already have a table saw, get a router next. You'll have a lot more fun, because a router can do so many interesting things with different bits. It's a really versatile and useful tool. So to recap, if you have a table saw and a router, you can jump into all kinds of woodworking projects. Another feature of this truck is that from the beginning I decided not to use any metal pieces. So I didn't use a single nail or screw to join the wood. I only used the wood glue. And anyone who's done woodworking knows that properly applied wood glue can actually create a bond even stronger than nails or screws. So the truck bed opens and tilts up, and I made all of that using wooden hinges that I built myself. I also added a lot of little details like the gas barrels on the side, headlights, a ladder, steps, wheels, and even a seat. When I was building it, I imagined my son playing with his Lego figures, climbing up the ladder, sitting in a driver's seat, and pretending to drive the truck around. It took me quite a while to finish, but it was totally worth it because my son really loved it. And now, 8 years later, it's still here, still in one piece. Now I'm all done with the retouching, and I really like how it turned out. All the stickers, stamps, and pen marks are gone, and the wood looks clean and fresh again. Here's a look at the before and after picture. And finally, this last photo is from 8 years ago when my son was playing with it for the first time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.